Well, here's me. I have this incredible story inspired by my mom to, spoiler alert, become a doctor, become a physician so I can provide the same access and opportunity that someone gave my mom. My mom's story, it's so integral to mine that I can't even begin to share mine without beginning with hers. And my mom was born in this remote village in Ethiopia where really all you saw was complete poverty. When my grandma, when she was 13 years old, she had dropped my mom in this big old bowl that she was cooking over. And my mom, she was so badly burned that they had to take this little girl to the hospital. Literally by God's grace, she made it to a physician. They performed surgery on her, but her legs from the knees down were so badly burned that she had to get them amputated. And somebody was so inspired by my mom's story that they decided to sponsor her to get her education, paving her way virtually to the United States. Got college educated, got her master's degree, even went on to serve on the Federal City Council. And just having that story and knowing it at such a young age and seeing the true impact of education and where it can take you, it's what keeps me going, and it's what makes me want to share it with so many other people, because education literally is one of the most powerful tools that you can use to change the world, and it changed the world for my mom, and I'm here today because of it, and it's what I try to pay forward as well to those who I work with. The very first day of classes in 2014 of my very first quarter, and walking across Red Square and seeing all the students going to class along with me, and walking into Kane where there's some 700 seats, I immediately realized just about three things. The first was the fact that showing up to an 8:30, 2 minutes early, wasn't early at all. But the second thing I realized was that out of some 600 or 700 students who had filled those seats, there was but 1 of 5 African Americans, myself included. And the third was that after the class had passed and occurred that first day, the vast majority of the content that the professor had spoke on, it went right over my head. And that was one of my low points for sure of coming to the UW. And I started to question okay, maybe this Chem 142 first quarter thing wasn't the best choice for me as a kid coming from Federal Way. But then I went to EOP Advising Educational Opportunity Program, where I sat down with my advisor, and he pretty bluntly said, hey, you just gotta revamp how you're studying, Joshua. But he still believed in me and empowered me to figure this out, and gave me kind of tangibles, and even kind of directed me to the Instructional Center, the IC. The Instructional Center is purposed to provide students, especially from underrepresented backgrounds at the University of Washington, tools and resources and academic support at its core. And that helped incredibly. It made all the world of a difference for me because I ended up doing well in my classes. I learned how to study. I learned the resources to navigate the university. But it wasn't just that. And for me, it was really this feeling and having instructors who cared about my well-being both inside and outside of the classroom. That reminded me and brought me back to Federal Way. This idea of home, idea of community, that I'm far more than just a number here at the University of Washington. And just seeing that and seeing the impact that it could have on someone like myself and my peers, I was so fortunate to be able to be hired on as a tutor my senior year because I've had so much support along this 3-4 year journey. There's no other place that I'd much more rather teach because of the impact that I know that the IC has and has had for me. From the Instructional Center, it's incredible and eye-opening how broad Office of Minority Affairs and Diversity is. I only talked about the Instructional Center, the Educational Opportunity Program. It's jaw-dropping how much they're able to do with the resources they have to make all the difference for somebody like myself. Quite simply, I wouldn't be here in this chair doing everything that I'm doing now without the Office of Minority Affairs and Diversity, point blank. Students, especially coming from my background, it's so hard to navigate both figuring out how to survive in Chem 142 to getting involved on campus. Adding work and the stresses of jobs and housing and food, all these things are so real, this third aspect. So even though scholarships is not necessarily mentoring in its own right, it allows and opens the doors and takes off these barriers for mentoring to take place. When I get this funding, I realize, wow, somebody's literally putting their name on the line for Joshua Dawson. You're not just affecting one person with these scholarships or with donating towards having an additional tutor in the Instructional Center. Supporting these programs within Office of Minority Affairs and Diversity, they ensure again that freshman who's not sure whether or not they're supposed to be there, that somebody else from the outside looking in believes in them. Like, our students truly are special, especially those within Office of Minority Affairs and Diversity. We're going to change the world for sure, and many of those students did receive, like, financial support, emotional support, and just stability in that regard to again have this platform to do more. And I'm just one of those students. Wow, what a concept. So I'm excited to see where my peers go.